Jeff, that was a superb talk. Thank you. Jeremy, you're right on the money. Good for you. My name's Charlie Cummings, and I couldn't be prouder to be here today, and I couldn't be more proud to introduce one of my very dearest friends, one of my great colleagues, and someone who's been tremendously supportive and helpful to me throughout my entire professional career. It's Ernie Weymuller. Ernie's father was an otolaryngologist in New York City. Ernie became an otolaryngologist, and his dad was so proud of him with that accomplishment. He was a little less happy when he decided to go into private practice with me and Bob Cox and Bob Lofgren in Boston Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates.
That's my slide.
Oh, I don't have any slides.
Oh, you don't have any slides?
No, they're your slides. But he took the siren's call to go to the Pacific Northwest with me to attempt to develop an academic program of national prominence at the University of Washington. And he became a leader institutionally and became a leader nationally and internationally. And I'm absolutely confident that it is his partnership that allowed us to succeed with our goals. We were very happy. So he's a great friend, he's a great colleague, and a great confidant. So I introduce Ernie Weymuller.
Well, there is a title slide, but I don't think we need it. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation to be here, and I wanted to give a special thanks to Dana Greider, who helped me get ready for this presentation, and so thanks a lot, Dana. You made it a lot easier for us. There it is. Okay. Reflections and connections will be what I discuss. Listening to all this morning, Ted Technos referred to an attitude at MGH that this place was just a big cerumen bowl. And that struck a memory for me that I hadn't included, so I need to tell it now. Every fifth night we served in the emergency room, and a vast majority of the work was cleaning out cerumen, which I, along with others, became tremendously fed up with. And so I created the cerumen bowl, and we collected cerumen from every patient and put it all in one place, which after a year's work on that, it was a very unpleasant and awful thing that had to be discarded. But at least I got to express in some way my displeasure with that job. I'm going to talk about the mass eye and ear, as all of you have experienced, as the foundation of my career. I'm going to demonstrate some relationships between Mass Eye and Ear and my home institution at the University of Washington. And although I'm not a bench researcher, I got interested in quality of life issues, and I wanted to assure non-research otolaryngologists that you can actually do clinical research and get some useful results. So our residency, I feel, was based on precision and innovation and service. And you've all heard about these characters. Dr. Shuknik, the chief, was truly the steely-eyed hair professor and somewhat intimidating fellow. But on reflection, I really feel throughout my undergraduate, graduate, residency, all of that, he was the single best teacher of the field that he taught, of any that I was exposed to in my career. He was a fantastic teacher. Monty was an innovator, an artist, and a friend. He created solutions for a number of challenging issues of the time, and a lot of them are still very durable. Dick Gasick was a jack of all trades, great in head and neck and in otology, and he was very quiet and an outstanding technician, and I actually didn't get enough time with Dick Asik. I wish I could have spent more. And then there were the private practice surgeons on service 2 months out of every year. They were a very eclectic group dedicated to resident training, and Charlie was the go-to young hotshot. We served as residents during the institutional transition. In 1973 was in the middle of that transition. And one of the things that I wanted to point out was the notorious sleeping quarters that we heard about from more senior guys who had already graduated. And Gene, I think, alluded to some of the parties and events that occurred up there that I never experienced, but there was a great tale about that. And then there was the Black Hole of Calcutta, which was the third floor of the old building with this building built over it. And we were still taking care of patients, and in particular head and neck cancer patients. And there were plywood sheets over all the windows, so it was dark, and it was deathly hot in the summer. And so we called it the Black Hole of Calcutta. Why is this thing advancing without me doing anything? Is it on a timer? I don't know. Here's my class, RV and Judy Fulk. There's RV and Judy, Bo and Carol McClurkin, Joe and Ann Schwartz, Steve and Maria Smith, and Alice and me around the time of our graduation. And we were enjoying a clam bake at Danny Miller's during the summer. 1973 to 77, I was with Boston Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, and you've heard the names of Dr. Klotz Lofgren, Bartlow Cummings, Angie Papaniku, who died early after graduation, and Steve Smith. And I was the assistant director of the tumor clinic with Monty. And in 1977, I really wanted to get into academics, and I went and asked Dr. Shuknik if I could join the full-time faculty, to which he kindly said, "We don't have a space for you." So that was the beginning of the next phase of my career. Charlie and I had talked about running a department together. And in 77, 78, Charlie took the chair at the University of Washington and then said, "Let's go do it." And my wife Alice took this picture of us on a flight out there as I joined the faculty. And our plan was very clearly to instill mass ioneer principles at the training program in the University of Washington. Monty was an enduring presence for me throughout my whole career. And I love some of the things that I remember him saying, like never do a neck dissection the same way twice. Never disparage a referring doc. And be kind to your patients and tell them the truth. As far as connections are concerned between the institution out at the University of Washington and here, Paul Hammerschlag was there when we got there. He was at Seattle Children's Hospital and welcomed us to Seattle, and then became a resident and a fellow at the Ioneer. Mark Coltrera was an Ioneer resident and came out to here, as Charlie mentioned, to be our fellow, and ultimately has become a professor and vice chair while I was chairman of the department, and served incredibly well. Jay Rubenstein, who's here today, was a University of Washington MD PhD student before he came here for his residency, and then came back to become the director of the Virginia Merrill Blodell Hearing Institute. Sharon Kajawa was our audiology chief and came back here to be at the Eaton Peabody faculty. I want to speak a little bit about outcomes research, and in particular some that I was involved in. And I think it's my most useful academic contribution, aside from training people. Why did I do it? Well, in 1985, there was a nagging question about which was a better form of treatment for advanced head and neck cancer. Was it radiation or was it surgery? They provided approximately equal survival, and so the question was, which one should we choose? The people that I talked with at the time thought pursuing quality of life research was not very useful thought. We should focus on survival and local regional control because they're the most important endpoints, beside which QOL can't be measured. Well, it was Lord Kelvin that said, when you cannot express it in numbers, your knowledge is of a meager and unsatisfactory kind. And I had to see and learn from myself about the thoughts about quality of life. The the UW QOL instrument took some time to develop it. It was validated in a paper we published in 1993 with a major assist from UW School of Public Health. In 1995, Mark Coltrera developed Odobase, which is a fully relational head and neck database, and it goes well beyond head and neck. But it made UW QOL become an outcomes research tool. And in 1996, we published, with the assistance of a large grant from UW School of Medicine, a prospective study of 549 head and neck cancer patients seen at the University of Washington and given prospective QOL studies, and demonstrated a very significant difference between QOL of T1 patients, T2s, T3s. It really stratified according to the disease that they had. Now in 2024, I'm happy to say that it's been translated and validated in 23 languages around the world and is being actively used. There's Mark in his youth. Doesn't look much different now. So a plug for outcomes research. I think you should ask yourself, why am I doing whatever treatment it is that you're thinking about at the time? And realize the danger of knowing the right answer, and of avoiding controversy, and of being safe in your opinions, and of settling into a comfortable practice pattern. I think you always need to be challenging yourself about what you are doing. And then you can get involved and pursue a question. And I think outcomes research fits well, as opposed to bench research for most people, fits well into a surgeon's professional life. It can influence patient care, and it can make your life rewarding in a new and different way. Now, my QOL. Well, this is my wife, Alice. Recent birthday event, and this is a family conversation over the dinner table not very long ago. So it's Alice and home and family and friends and art. This is home. That's the Mount Rainier from our house over Lake Washington, and we live 10 minutes away from the hospital. So we can compete with San Diego in some ways for attractive places to come and do a residency. We are definitely dog fans, University of Washington. Each member of our immediate family has some connection to University of Washington, including Alice, who graduated Phi Beta Kappa in English and has a master's degree in English literature. And these are our two grandsons, knuckleheads. I've been interested in art all my life, and at this stage in 1984, I was fiddling around with the primary colors and trying to do different kinds of painting. And Charlie invited me to join a fantastic fishing group that has met every year since then in various places around the West. This is obviously, I hope obviously, Charlie talking to one of our buddies at a river in Montana. And later on, I did a couple of other pictures. This is Charlie with Bob Sofferman, former chairman at the University of Ron. I hope you guys can recognize it. And Charlie on the Platte River in a pretty typical pose from a fishing trip. So thanks to Mass Eye and Ear Infirmary, it's been an incredible life, professional life connection. I benefited from it gratefully. And this is a graduation gift that Monty gave to all the residents that year. Now, however grateful I am, I'm really glad the chief said no, because I would have not had the experience of going to a large institution like the University of Washington and experiencing a totally different environment for training and patient care than exists here. Now, Charlie's up next, and I wanted to show you that some people thought he wouldn't amount to much. Here he is, I think he's at Deerfield, and someone under there said, "You ain't going no place." But we know better. He's gone a lot of places, and it's been a great pleasure, Charlie, to be with you. Thank you.